Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. Whenever she went out, the little girl wore a red riding cloak, so everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mom made a lovely cake for her grandmother, who wasn't feeling very well. Her mother said, "Go to Granny's house and take some food for her." So they packed a nice basket for Little Red Riding Hood. When the basket was ready, the little girl put on her red cloak and kissed her mom goodbye. "Remember to go straight to Granny's house," said Mom. "Don't play along the way, and please don't talk to strangers." "Don't worry, Mommy," said Little Red Riding Hood. "I'll be careful." But when Little Red Riding Hood noticed some lovely flowers in the woods, she forgot her promise to her mommy. So she picked a few up and played with a fox and with a rabbit and with a little bird. Suddenly, the wolf appeared beside her. "What are you doing down here, little girl?" "I'm on my way to see my granny," Little Red Riding Hood replied. Then she realized how late she was and quickly excused herself, rushing down the path to her grandma's house. The wolf, in the meantime, took a shortcut. The wolf arrived at Granny's house and knocked lightly at the door. "Oh, thank goodness, dear. Come in, come in." The wolf let himself in. Poor Granny did not have time to say another word before the wolf pushed her out. Then the wolf went through Granny's wardrobe to find a nightgown that he liked. Also, he ate Granny's glasses. A few minutes later, Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood." "Oh, how lovely! Do come in, my dear," croaked the wolf. When Little Red Riding Hood entered in the little cottage, she could scarcely recognize her grandma. "Granny, your voice sounds so odd. Is something the matter to you?" "Oh dear, I just have a touch of a cold," squeaked the wolf. "But Granny, what big eyes you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "They're better to see you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "But Granny, what big ears you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "They're better to hear you, my dear," replied the wolf. "But Granny, what big nose you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "They're better to smell you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "But Granny, what big teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "They're better to eat you with," roared the wolf, and leapt out the bed and began to chase the little girl. A woodsman who was chopping logs nearby heard her cry and ran towards the cottage as fast as he could. The woodsman made the wolf run very far, far away and took the little girl home with her mommy and her granny. All the family had a nice lunch and a long log chat, and they were happy forever and ever.